everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm so glad you're joining me. Today we are playing with two more Spellbinders Club kits. We have the Large Die of the Month Club kit. It's called Wrapped in Care, and it's for December 2025. And look how cute she is. A little spa day. So sweet. And she is large enough to create a shaped card that will fit in an A2 envelope. I just thought she was so adorable. There's even a debossed area on top to where you can double up on your outline here and stack them. Oops, the glare is horrible. So that's an option too, is doubling up on this. There is a debossed line to where if you stack two together, it's actually an open and fold line, which is really nice that they included that. We're just going to make an A2 card today with a special twist. We are actually using acetate today in unintentional ways other than shakers. I've created cards where they've had a floating look, and I'll link that video at the end. But today we're going to create two cards just using them as the accent piece. Super fun. Okay, I'm also using the Spellbinders embossing folder. The card that I'm making with the embossing folder of the month club kit, it's called Sweet Stems, and it's going to be pretty basic. If you don't have the embossing folder club, you could actually switch out the embossing folder that I'm using today with any kind of embossing folder that you have. So pretty simple second card. So we're just going to jump in with our first card and do some die cutting. Again, she is so sweet and very easy to put together. And I'm going to put a little twist on here. You guys know I like to do things a little bit different and give you guys some ideas on how to use it other than the typical ideas. So I'm going to share with you a fun way to give her a little bit of a different look. Okay, and sky is the limit with her look. Let me do some die cutting. Today we are using pink. So this is Spellbinders 2-2 cardstock. For the hair and the eyebrow elements, I'm using Spellbinders Cinnamon. For the cucumbers, the bottom part of the cucumbers, I'm using Spellbinders Forest. Lighter is Sage. And then I have some Dahlia cardstock here that I cut out for the flowers. For my girl, I'm using Spellbinders Color Essential cardstock. They don't have this one anymore, but I'm using the Barely Peach. Okay, if you wanted to use a Copic marker, I would say using an EOO on white cardstock. You could get away with doing that also. Or just go through your stash and try to find a flesh tone cardstock. Okay, and then I did die cut out the background. I'm not going to, again, make a card base with this, but they do have this little debossed area to where you could fold and make a card base. So let's go ahead and dive in and create this cute little girl. Oh, the lips and then the cheeks I cut out with white cardstock. I did that because I'm going to use a Copic marker. I'm using my RV000, and all I'm going to do is add some pink. We're going to go really soft with the cheeks. Maybe we'll go a little darker with her lipstick. Let me bring in a darker pink. We'll go R21 for her lips. There we go. There's one other thing that I want to mention before we put all of these together, that this die here, let me show you the back of the packaging. This piece here is the very back end, you can see here, but I'm going to use this as her hair. Okay, so I cut out her hair with the cinnamon. So this piece is her hair, this piece here. So we're going to turn this not into part of the headdress, but we're going to turn it into part of her hair. I did want to mention that. Now let's go ahead and assemble this sweet little girl. First off, let's add her. We're going to have, there's an option where she could be wearing a robe, but I'm going to add a towel. So we're just going to, and then this fits perfectly on this body piece. Can't get any easier, but just look how one piece of cardstock just transforms that. How cute is this? Okay, and I'm actually going to glue this on here as a background. You really don't need to do this, but for me, I'm going to add some glue behind her face, and we will tack this down. Now I want a little bit of dimension to her. So to do that, I'm going to take her little hair piece I'm going to line it up on her face, and there you just follow the lines of the debossed area, and then I'm going to add some glue here. I didn't add it down here on the side of her face, but we're going to line this up. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little glue on this side, and then I'm going to line this part up. And again, you're supposed to add glue here, but I'm not doing that because we're going to pop this piece up. And then we can pick up her hair like this in one piece. Okay, we can actually do the same thing with this piece here. Let's layer this here where it goes. Add a little glue at the bottom. And then we can line up her face once more. And so we have these pieces attached, like so. Okay, now let's add her eyebrows. I chose cinnamon because when I was younger, I had dark auburn hair. I just loved it. Okay, and then we can add her little cheeks. And then we're going to layer our cucumbers together. I'm going to put some small foam squares behind our cucumbers here. Now I mentioned I wanted to do something to make her a little bit different because anybody could do this. What we're going to do is bring in some more of the cinnamon cardstock. Okay, I'm going to add this piece to my cinnamon cardstock. Now I'm going to put her on my card all the way to the right. So I want her hair a little ponytail off to the left. If you want her in the center of your card, put this in the center of your cardstock. If you want her to the left, you'd put this to the left, okay? But I'm going to put this to the right, and I'm going to use my pen, and I'm just going to trace around. Ideally, you want to use a pencil because you can erase it. Okay? So I know that's the shape of her head. I'm not even going to use the pen anymore. What I'm going to do is bring in my scissors. Okay, I'm going to cut on the inside of this piece here. Okay, and then when I get to the top of her ponytail, now all I'm going to do is create a little hair swoosh. This is so fun. This doesn't have to be perfect either. You can have it curling up a little bit. And then you want to bring it back down here. And then this part you can just cut off. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to trim around on the inside here. Okay, so now all we have left is this funny looking piece. Now watch the transformation. When you put this here, look how cute, watch. Look how cute. It's like playing with paper dolls. Look how cute. So you can create a little ponytail for her. But if you want a full head of hair, you can modify this any way you want. Like I could actually lower it a little bit, but all I have to do is just trim a little extra more off here. And look how cute. I did another one here. So all you would have to do is, this one actually really looks like a ponytail. Switch it on this side. Cutest. You could cut this off and create a shorter ponytail. I like the little curve up. So add a little curve up. I would just keep playing and playing. Cute, huh? Look at it. You can flip it over and do the other side. So you can do probably even do a messy bun. Let me see if you can do you could even do a messy bun here. Just do some little messy buns. And there you go. So play around, create some really fun hair. I just I think that's so much fun. But we're going to use this piece here. To put it together, I just put foam tape behind here. We're going to layer this right over the top here on her face. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little glue on this section. And we'll tack this down here. There we go. Okay, now we're going to add some flowers. Of course, you know I want dimension on those flowers, so I'm going to put small foam squares behind here. And that's our cute little spa girl. Okay, I'm going to put her to the side, and now we're going to work on our background. I mentioned acetate. Okay, what we're going to do is create almost like a, every spa that I went to had like these glass doors, almost like glass shower doors, and so that's what I wanted to recreate with the acetate. So I'm going to layer both of these together, and then I'm going to trim down a 1/2 inch off of here, maybe 3/4. We'll go 3/4 inch. We will just trim that off. Okay, and then with this is Spellbinders Fog cardstock too, so it's gray. I'm going to use some rectangle dies. This set is the Precision Layering A2 die set, and I'm taking, this is the 5th from the smallest, and what I'm going to do is create 3 windows in here. Okay, I always like to start with the top and the bottom and then add the middle. I'll do that and I'll be right back. So we have a window with 3 window panes in it. I do want to mention you may want to take your time with this, because when I sped through it, this was my first one. It was definitely lopsided. So take your time with it and you'll get it. We'll just layer this together. There we go. Now I'm going to flip this over. I am going to put foam tape behind here. I'm doing this because I want the dimension. And you could easily turn this into a shaker, but we're just using this as an accent piece. So I'm going to bring in some foam tape, and then I'm going to attach this to the front of my card base. I'm going to take this and go all the way to the left of my card base. Now that we have this adhered, kind of looks like a spa door. Okay, we're going to take our little girl, and I'm going to layer her. I am going to layer her to where a little bit of her head is overhanging, so everything is nice and even. I'm going to add some bigger foam squares here. There we go. I am using another Spellbinders Club kit. This is the Clear Stamp and Die of the Month Club kit. It's called Simply Said. And I thought we would stamp the greeting that says, "Let's do nothing together." I'm going to add it right down here. So let's stamp this on some white cardstock. We'll add it right here at the bottom. Okay, now we need bells and whistles. First off, we're going to bring in some gems. I'm using my Spellbinders Opal gems. And we're going to add some flower centers. Let's use the larger ones here. I'll use a large one and a small one. No, a two. Let's add 2 large opal gems to the flower centers. Maybe we should add just a couple little small ones. And then I want to add a little trio of the smaller ones here. Now we're going to doctor up our acetate with just some clear droplets. This is going to dry clear on the acetate, but you can kind of see the shadows behind it. I think this is going to look so neat. It's really fun to do too. And then I'm also going to go over my cucumbers, because cucumbers are shiny. Okay, just because we got to fancy up those, and I went outside the line a little bit, so I'm just going to clean it up here with my craft tool. There we go. It's kind of hard to see, but those little dots are cloudy now, but they'll dry clear and you can really see the shadow behind it. and it really gives a nice little spa effect. And that will finish off that card. Okay, using acetate as an accent piece is so much fun. But we're going to move along to our next card. I mentioned my next card is going to be really easy. I'm using our large die flowers. I'm going to cut out some flowers here and some leaves, the smaller leaves, and then we have 2 of the bigger ones left over. Okay, and then I'm also going to take a heart die set and cut out a couple of hearts. One with white cardstock and then one with acetate. I'm going to stamp my greeting directly on the heart here. Okay, I'm going to stamp from your favorite I'm Still Crushing on You would be really cute. But I'm going to stamp for my forever friend. And I'm pretty sure I got that crooked. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to stamp it one more time here. This time I'm going to use the grid lines on my grid mat. I need to make sure, you just want to make sure this is straight. Let's try this again. Okay, I think that's much better. So I just used the reverse side. Okay, and then we're going to add our flowers. It looks like I'm going to need some micro squares. I have some Spellbinders micro squares, which are itty bitty minis. I'm so glad they came out with these because they're perfect for behind flowers like this. Now I put glue behind my heart here, and I'm going to directly adhere it to my acetate. I think that just adds a little extra specialness to your card. Now I went ahead and embossed an A2 panel of our Sweet Stems embossing folder. And what we're going to do is just add this to the front of our card. I am going to trim about a 1 1/4 inch off the bottom. Then I'll take a thin bead of glue at the very top. I have a 1/4 inch strip of Spellbinders Fog cardstock. We're going to add a little seam at the very top. So it's going to be about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little less. Okay, and we're going to layer this on the front of our card. Anything overhanging, I'm just going to trim off. I actually trimmed this a little bit more. So it's 4 1/4 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches tall. Okay, I wanted it a little bit lower on my card. And then we're going to add our acetate heart right over the seam. Just making sure it's centered. It sure does look really pretty. Using acetate for accent pieces, it just adds a little extra specialness, and it makes the card look really clean. I love that. I'm bringing back my Opal gems, and then we're going to fill in those flowers. And that will finish off my card projects for today. 2 fun cards using 3 of Spellbinders Club kits. We have the large die of the month club kit, the clear stamp and die of the month club kit, and then we also have the embossing folder. I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration and some fun ways to use the acetate. Just love that. And then we have this little piece that just adds to the design. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.